Hey guys, it's Gaz. Welcome to the Warframe video. So earlier today on PC we got the Wukong rework, and I'm just going to quickly go over how I feel about it. We're going to go over his abilities, what they've been changed to. I'm going to show you guys some fun builds. We mostly have just two builds today. One's going to be like a general use build for like playing normal missions, maybe like doing a level 80 Kuva flood. And then we have a for fun build that's meant for open world maps that's called Cloud Stalker. And it's actually really fun, so I definitely recommend checking that one out. I don't know if it's super practical, but I was messing around with it earlier, and it's pretty hilarious, actually. So let's go over his abilities. So his first ability has been replaced. Now if you use his first ability, it will summon a clone of you. So this clone can do emotes, which is very important. It will do the same emotes as you. You can shake hands with it. I haven't really done that, but the thing here, guys, is that this clone it takes your health mods into account. Depending how much power strength you have in your build, it will also multiply that health by a certain amount. So like on my current build, it's like 3.3 multiplier on my health, so my clone has like 4,600 health pretty much. And it also has a good amount of armor as well. Another thing to keep in mind with the clone is see how it currently has the melee weapon equipped. If I were to switch to my melee weapon, it would immediately take out the gun I have equipped. So I switch to my gun, goes back to melee, swing my sword, immediately goes back to gun. That's going to be a big part of using this thing properly, and additionally, you can actually command the clone if you target a specific enemy to attack an enemy that you want to directly. Normally, it just like attacks whatever. But let's just quickly summon some high-level enemies, and we'll show how he does. So they're just shooting me. The clone is firing the Tsar. I'm going to go in and do some melee attacks. Pretty good. So it's really good for Condition Overload, honestly. You can proc Condition Overload for your clone can help you out with Condition Overload as well. It's like you're a tag team, and if you're using Condition Overload in your melee, or if you're put it on your like exalted weapon or whatever, it's going to be really nice, guys. So when you do target a specific enemy with your clone, it will actually do double damage to that enemy, which I don't normally use, but it is a nice feature that it's a thing. So that's the first ability in a very small nutshell. The only problem with the first ability, in my opinion, is a couple AI issues of it, like running into walls and stuff. Also, there's certain weapons that it just doesn't work very well with it. Like, for example, the Redeemer Prime. I was super excited to try out the Redeemer Prime with this thing, but for some reason, the Redeemer Prime does 0 damage when it's used by the clone. So keep that in mind. I know that was one of the weapons I was excited to try, but unfortunately, it just like knocks the enemies around. I don't understand why it doesn't do damage, but maybe that will get fixed in the future. So I hope it does, because that would be a really nasty weapon to use with this clone. Okay, so that's the general gist of it. There's also like things like it doesn't take duration. It's a permanent clone, guys. So you push it, it's permanent until it dies. So until that 4,000 health goes down to 0, it's going to be out here. I can also hold down the button to dismantle the clone, and then I can just like resummon it if I needed to. So yeah, pretty nice ability. This is like the main focus of the rework for a lot of people. And I think it's pretty good. It does have some, like I said, wonky AI, but we'll go over the other abilities first before we get more into that, because I have some gameplay for you as well. His second ability is called Cloud Walker. So what it does is you push the second ability, you turn into a cloud, you are invisible, you can actually move around as well, and depending how much distance you travel while in the Cloud Walker, it will actually heal your health bar. So see, we have 676 health right now. If I go like really far away, it's going to fully heal me. So it's a meters traveled kind of thing. If I stood still like I did right there, it did not heal me at all. So if you're just standing still, it's not going to heal you. It's based on duration, how long you are in that mode. Also, there's a stun radius as well. So it does stun enemies. Let's quickly just show that in these same enemies right here. So as you see, I'm testing against these guys without paused AI on Wukong. So people were worried he wasn't going to be super tanky. He definitely feels really tanky, even without his non-interactive invincibility that he had before. So I think that the worries were a little bit unfounded. I mean, I definitely like understand. Like, people were thinking like that's the only thing he's useful for. Like I hope he's not like completely useless besides his old niche before. And like he's obviously not invincible now, guys, but he actually is really strong, and like he's a much more fun frame to play now altogether. Okay, so since we're talking about his invincibility that he used to have before, let's go over what happened to the old invincibility ability called Defy. So what Defy does now is that it puts you into, this is invincibility right here. You become invincible for a few seconds, moddable by duration, and then it's basically going to absorb damage from the enemies that shoot you, and depending how much damage you take in, you'll get even more armor. So, see right here, we have 50 armor. That's because no damage was taken. Let's summon these enemies again, and we're going to show how that works. So, these guys should get me to my full armor value of 1500 immediately. There we go. It absorbs the damage, it shoots it back at them. Doesn't really do much in return, but also your clone will use the ability as well. So, see, he's invincible. And it can do some decent damage at lower levels. These guys are very highly armored, so it's not really going to be doing much to them. And yeah, I could say this ability is pretty good. You're not going to always use it, obviously. It's mostly just you'll get your armor buff, and then you're going to not cast it again unless you really need to for some reason. But the nice combination here is you get your armor buff, you can use Cloudwalker to heal up, also heals your clone, and yeah, you like are a very sustained tank with this build that we'll be going over a little bit more. And yeah, I think Defy is pretty good. It's you're only going to use it when you're like face tanking like a high level enemy, I'd say, which doesn't always happen. So like you probably will never use this ability in like low level content if you're playing Wukong for like star chart missions or something. But overall, I think it's pretty good. You do get a short period of invincibility, which is just like whatever. You don't really care about that too much. And then we're going to go over his fourth ability. Let's quickly just show. So his fourth ability is called Primal Fury. So you pull out this big staff, and it drains energy per hit and per second, and it can do some pretty hilarious combos. I'll show those in a second. You also can mod it for specific elements. So I currently don't have a maxed out build on here right now. I'm still formatting him, so we have like a level 4 Fever Strike. I'd prefer to put the Prime Fever Strike in that slot, but we'll do that later. And then you can put Condition Overload on here. It's got like decent crit stats, decent status chance as well, so you can make like a hybrid build. But the big thing here, guys, the reason that it's not like super hybrid viable is that you cannot put Blood Rush on this weapon. Blood Rush is what makes like a lot of the crazy Maiming Strike builds and Condition Overload hybrid builds work. You can't use Blood Rush on here. Neither can you use Maiming Strike, so some of the most OP mods in the game cannot be used on this build. But on the bright side, it's still like really strong even without those. So we currently have a corrosive heat build on here with Condition Overload, and I do really highly value Prime Reach on this build because it makes the staff cover a huge area. So also Berserker, I have Arcane Strike on my build right now, but we'll go over the build in a second. So let's just spawn these guys again, get some energy. He does really want energy with this build. Actually, with all of his builds, he really wants energy. Alright, let's get our armor buff so we can just wail on these guys. Alright. Now we'll pull out the stick. So, stick does pretty good damage. And I can do... This is like my favorite combo. It just looks so silly. It's not very effective, but yeah, it's just wrecking these guys. Where'd that enemy go? Get over here. And like I said, the clone also uses the stick, so I commanded it to attack him. He's doing double damage to this enemy. He like 3-shot the level 165 heavy gunner with like a 2-forma build with unmaxed mods, guys. So yeah, it's really nice. You can also use it like slide attacks, like it covers a big area. And like here's the combos. So I haven't learned all the combos yet, but these are very different compared to normal combos you'd be using. So for example, the one where we were like bonking the stick on the ground and it looked really goofy, I think that's the Rolling Boulder Rush. I don't actually know which one that is, but the way I did that one is I just held down the right trigger and then I just like bonk the stick on the ground. Like I said, not super effective, but it sure looks hilarious, and I laugh literally every time I use that one. So let's go over the build that we have now. That we've gone like over the basic gist of the abilities. So this is the build I'm gonna recommend to everyone. And like notice it's not maxed out. I'm expecting Wukong Prime pretty soon, like within this year. I think the word on the street is that it's gonna be Atlas Prime next, and then it should be Wukong Prime after Atlas Prime. So if that lines up correctly, that should be in like winter of this year. So I'm not gonna fully commit to a super crazy build for Wukong right now, but the way we have it on right now, it's like one forma. We fit all 3 of the Umbra mods. We got adaptation because he has no innate damage reduction, so this will help you when you're just like running around tanking damage. Prime flow, so you can stay in your 4 for longer, and then a little bit of efficiency just so you can also stay in your 4 for longer. Duration, not super important on this build, but it does give you a longer duration of having your enhanced armor. It lets you stay in your Cloudwalker for longer, and that's pretty much it. Also, like, it's taken into account with the calculations on your drain per second on your 4. So I didn't have duration on here before, and I felt like I was draining energy really quickly in my 4, so keep that in mind. You might want to switch this out for like Hunter Adrenaline or something if you prefer. I was trying that out earlier. I don't know if I'd say I was a super big fan of it, because a big thing is also the armor duration. I really did feel the prime continuity on here with because it's base like 25 seconds, and we get to 36 seconds when we put prime continuity in here. Okay, so that's a build I'm going to recommend. If you don't want to do an Umbra build, you don't have the Umbra mods maxed out, something like this will work perfectly fine. We have no Umbra mods, and instead we have Hunter Adrenaline and Transient Fortitude. You can put Normal Intensify here. These are literally just the non-Umbra versions of those mods on the Umbra build. So you lose a lot of stats tank-wise. You lose 400 health, like 200 armor, and then a good chunk of power strength as well. But, you know, this isn't a maxed out vitality, so you gotta be fair here. You could definitely make it really tanky as well. Okay, so that's gonna work out as well. I've tested this build in a Kuva Flood. Pretty good, honestly. But yeah, here is the for fun stuff, guys. Let's show Cloud Stalker. So this one is meant to be using like an explosive weapon, like flying around. You know what? Let's just show it, okay? I can explain what you're supposed to do here. So the main gist of this is like you have really high duration, so you can stay in your Cloud Walker for a really long time. Like almost 5 seconds with this build. You could even cram more duration on here if you took off Fleeting Expertise for like Streamline, and then you'll be in your Cloud Walker for almost 6 seconds. But let's just show what I'm talking about here. So first off, you can travel really far with this thing. You know, let's not show that right away. Let's show this one first. Okay, so I'm on top of this giant tower in Fortuna, and I like jump all the way down. So the big thing about the Cloud Walker, guys, you can cast it while mid-air. So you can travel a huge distance, and when while mid-air, cast it again and keep flying upwards. It's really fun. So if I was doing this on the normal build, the non-high duration build, I would travel probably like half the distance because my duration's so much shorter. But yeah, you're also invisible while you are flying around, as I mentioned. So stuff like this is going to be pretty fun. I'd say this is mostly for open worlds and like if there's like a big room you're in. So basically it's like Death from Above. I really enjoy Death from Above in this game. So yeah, we're like flying around. We're like using the Tsar, just like bombarding the enemies. And then once we like start losing momentum, we cast Cloud Walker again and then jump back into the air and start flying around. The enemies are like, what the heck is going on right now? My clone is alive right now because like obviously when you cast the 2, the clone will get healed. And yeah, it's like, I just find this hilarious, and it might actually be viable for open world stuff, or other situations for that matter. I could see this being a thing if we get some like another open world boss fight, because yeah, it's pretty hilarious, honestly. Let's go over an actual mission though, not this goofy stuff that we're doing right here. So I'm going to show you guys a Kuva Flood gameplay with the Umbra build. You can see how the abilities work in mission when there's like pretty high level enemies. Kuva Floods are like around level 80, 90. So here we go. This is going to be the full Umbra build we're showing off here with this stuff. Oh wait, quickly before we go over that, he does have some augment mods as well. I was trying out Primal Rage earlier, which gives you increased critical chance on your staff, which they did buff to give you 150% increased critical chance, but I believe that is not really doing that much right now. I was not able to get orange crits. I know it goes off like the base stats of the weapon, so I wasn't really feeling a huge benefit from this mod specifically, but I would like to experiment with it with some more. He's also got Celestial Stomp, which will make it so your clone will actually slam the ground and like stun enemies. Let's just quickly show that. Alright, so I'm going to summon the clone. What's up, clone? How you doing? And then we're going to command it to attack these heavy gunners. Alright, so it's going after that one. It's getting knocked over. It's got an armor boost. Alright, slam that guy. Come on. You can do it. Oh, I guess it needs to be during the staff. There we go. Kind of hard to tell if it's actually working. But it's also, it's supposed to be like a Rhino Stomp pretty much. And if you can make it work, go for it. I didn't really know, I must have been using it wrong or something because it wasn't working there. But yeah, let's go over the Kuva Flood gameplay. How about that? Alright, so here we go. Umbra build. So I'm just showing off the builds right now. Same build as in the video. We got Arcane Guardian, Arcane Strike. strike just to make the melee attack faster. We got the Tsar. So I didn't really mention his passive at all. So what his passive does is basically when you die, you'll prevent death 3 times per mission. And that's only like, once you lose those 3 charges, they can't be refreshed as far as I can tell. And then once you die, you get a temporary buff. So those buffs can be increased effectiveness of health and energy orbs, triple elemental damage, invisibility, invincibility, and then the final one is increased loot drops. So a lot of people might hear that and be like, okay, well, I'm going to blow myself up in a Kuva flood and try to get double Kuva. And I'm pretty sure you actually can do that. I didn't do that in the video, but if you're bringing a self-damage weapon, you might want to try that out if you're trying to get maximum Kuva per hour. Okay, so that's an idea. You don't have to do it. You definitely don't have to do that, but I've tried it out a couple times. I have not been able to get the double drop buff once, and I've done it like 3 or 4 times at this point, so who knows? Maybe if you guys have been trying that, let me know in the comments if you've been able to get the double drops buff from blowing yourself up in a Kuva flood, because like I said, I have not been able to do that. So here we go, we activated our clone. He is going to teleport to us when we get too far away from him, so don't worry about it. He won't get lost. We're currently looking for the Kuva siphon, so really nice thing about Wukong here is that you basically have someone watching your back at all times. And since there's no duration on the clone, it's always going to be up until it dies. There are a couple problems with the clone, of course, like as I mentioned, there's the AI problems. Also, if you walk into a nullifier bubble, your clone will die. You see that right here. We went into the bubble, the clone did not, and the clone instantly died. That's the same with if you were to jump into like a reset pit, as I call them, where it's like, or like water. If you like jump into a pool of water, your clone will disappear, and you're going to need to recast it. So I don't understand why that needs to be deleted when you jump into water, but whatever. So yeah, here we go. We're just like running through the mission. Once we find some Kuva Guardians, we can actually face tank them with the Defy, and that's going to give us a huge chunk of armor, 1500 at max. And yeah, I do think that he is pretty nice for these kinds of missions specifically. I don't know if I would like really recommend him for like a level like 10,000 mission. If you're one of those people that insist on doing things like that, more power to you, I guess. I'm not going to really be signing up for those kinds of missions though, so I'd say when you're making critique of this, don't take into account level 10,000 enemies, because he's not meant to be fighting level 10,000 enemies. There's really not many options for doing that kind of stuff, so you're going to be using invincibility cheese, invisibility cheese, revenant, things of that nature. And I don't want to hear you tell me that oh dude, my Gram Prime can fight level 10,000. No, it's not going to fight level 10,000. Okay, that's not how it's happening. So yeah, we're just like knocking out the siphon right now. I'm going to command my clone to attack that Kuva lady, whatever they're called, Hayaka Master, and it basically one-shot her. Like, we don't have a ribbon obviously for the exalted weapon, so this is just rocking base damage right now, guys. We do have a decent build on here. Like, you can notice the Prime Breach. We're hitting a huge area every swing, and really nice. Like, we have a combo duration as well, so that's like where Drifting Contact will be pretty useful. And then I'm not even like really playing this perfectly right now. I could be using Cloudwalker to heal my clone, but I'm not. It's like kind of low health right now. I do like how it has like the UI for the health of the clone on the right. That's a really nice change. And as I said, like Wukong Prime is most likely coming out pretty soon. Well, pretty soon, this year most likely. And I think that Wukong Prime will actually maybe be worth buying or farming for at the very least. If he has cool accessories, I'll probably buy it. Like, I think this rework is very successful. But like I said, main problems I have, the Redeemer Prime does not do any damage. It has a couple AI issues with some weapons. They did make a custom AI for this Spectre, so it actually is more aggressive than a normal Spectre AI. It will not block ever, because it has all this health, and it makes the melee AI actually somewhat viable, so definitely could recommend it in melee mode. So here we got the Kuva Guardian shooting at us. We're tanking up his damage. We got 1500 armor from him wailing on us, and we actually just like deflected the damage back, so I definitely can recommend this to you guys. We're having a pretty easy time right now. I'm not really using, like, I have like Grace, or not Grace, I have Guardian and Strike equipped. And look at that lucky right, or bad luck right there. I got the Kuva buff right after the Siphon died. Talk about unlucky. And then here's me trying to hack in Cloudwalker. You can't actually hack in Cloudwalker or Defy, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, he's like a lot more viable now. He can use his Cloudwalker in like a spy mission, fly all past all the lasers. We display that a little bit in the video. And yeah, I definitely could recommend that you guys build him, as I've mentioned a few times at this point. So that's going to be it for the video today, guys. I think that he is worth building and checking out. And yeah, let's just quickly show the Redeemer Prime being bugged, and we can be sad about it. And we can read this to make sure I was not super confused. Hold to command the twin to perform a slam attack. Suspending. Okay, so we messed that up. Let's try it one more time. We'll pause these guys so they're not shooting us. Alright, let's get the clone. And then we're going to hold it. Okay. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. There you go. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Okay, yeah, I was doing it wrong. So you need to hold the button down while you're targeting an enemy, and it does like that crazy bonk. Okay. I can get behind that one. I think we have the wrong build on right now too. Okay, maybe try that one out. I definitely dig that. If we were in that Kuva flood, for example, we could just have the clone just slam the ground and CC all the enemies. Maybe check it out. We'll quickly show the Redeemer Prime, and then we'll be out of here, guys. This is like a first impressions kind of video. Obviously, it came out today. There's going to be some bugs they're going to fix. There might be some things they nerf. Hope they don't nerf the Cloud Stalker, because that was really fun. If I ever do bounties again for like the planes or anything like that, I'm definitely going to be trying out Cloud Stalker. Alright, so here we go. So you did her out of here, but it did like 0 damage. So for example, if I was to use my melee weapon right now, it would just do a lot of damage. Like visible amounts of damage on their health bar. But it's just bugged right now to do nothing for the clones. So hopefully that gets fixed. We'll see. It might be a little bit too OP, who knows. But yeah guys, I'll talk to you next time. Peace.